Hi ladies, nice seeing you. Thank you so much for coming. Today we're talking about Parashat Korach, and this Pasha, it's so much loaded. Whoa. So let's start with a story like we usually do. When Tsar Nikolai was ruling in Russia, so he was a dictator, and Russia at that time was a dictatorship regime, and so he was scared that his commanders, his generals and everything, they will rebel against him. So what he wanted to do is to create some kind of tension between the generals. He didn't want to be friendly. For some reason, he invented this law that his generals should be number one. You know, the priority should be first generals. If you have to go somewhere, you have to buy something, you have to stay all night. First your generals, then, you know, the nation, the people, whatever, the soldiers, the others. So, once two very important people were going in two carriages, and they had to go through a very narrow road between two little towns. So, and then, you know, they bump into each other because it's a very narrow way. There's no really way to move. Either one is coming down to the side way so that the other one can continue and then he can pass also, or there's no way. And these two people that were sitting in the carriages were two very, very arrogant people that feel so much important. You're going to tell me to come out, to get down, and you're going to pass first? No way. So the coachmen, you know, they're trying to single one another. Hey, I have an important person in my carriage. And the other one is doing the same, and they don't want to move. They don't want to. From one of the carriages came out a general, very, very important, filled with their medals and all these awards that they have and everything. Very, very much decorated. And his name he was a very short guy, like a dwarf, because fat, short. His name was Vladimir Molotov or something like that. Yeah. So he tells the other guy that was sitting in the other carriage, the other general, he tells him, you know how important I am? I have 14 Union States. I have 1,000 workers working for me. I'm so rich, you have to go down, let me pass. The other one, Sergei Kholchanov, something like that, a very tall guy, very thin guy, thinks, you know, was a very, very big general, tells him, you're kidding me? I'm the head of the biggest army of the Tsar. You know, I have 3,000 soldiers under me. And I don't know, I'm much more important than you. And that one says, what are you talking about? The king the Tsar have so many generals. You're just one of them, big deal. But without me, he cannot move. I provide him. I open him all my gold, all my treasures. Oh, no, he takes everything. Without me, you cannot operate all these wars that you're doing and whatever. You know, I'm more important. And the other one says, you're talking to me? I'm in the battle. I'm saving you. I'm working for my homeland. I'm doing this. And they start fighting.
Wow.
Back and forth, back 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. People are waiting, and now more carriages are coming, and it's like a big traffic jam over there. They're all stuck, no one wants to move. So then a man tells them there's no moving, and they get frustrated already, they get angry. Let's do something. One of the carriages came out, there were some rabbis sitting there, waiting to go to the big rabbi for consultation or to see the rabbi, whatever. And they say, Jewish people are very smart. Let's ask them. Let's see what he says. So they come to the oldest man, to the most looks wisest man there, and they ask him, how can we resolve this problem? He tells them, I'll tell you what. The smartest one will go down first. Mm-hmm. Quickly, this Sergei and this Vladimir run to their carriages to be the first one to go down, the sideway, so that, he gives way, he opens the route. And really, Baruch Hashem, quickly the route opened, the people started going again.
Beautiful.
So the biggest problems usually of disputes, of fights, of arguments between people, behind them usually the ones that fight are people that believe that they have very, 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 very strong principles, and they have to stand on them. They're basically stubborn people, full of honor, full of self. Think who they are, self-esteem and whatever. Chazal say, Korach was a very smart man. Why did he need to get into this dispute between him and Moshe Rabbeinu?
Jealousy.
And they say, jealousy, he was a rich man, he was bothered by...
But he was Moshe Rabbeinu was chosen one, right? It just doesn't exist. I know the money and the power, yes, but...
And he was also the one that was carrying the Aron. It's even harder to understand why he was against... I just want to explain something. Kehat was the son of Levi, and he had 4 sons. So first one was Amram, from him came Moshe and Aaron, and Moshe got the kingship. He was the leader of Am Yisrael, he was a king, and Aaron got the Kehuna, right? Mm-hmm. And then after Kehat, after Amram was Yitzhar, Korach was from Yitzhar. He thought, second one to be appointed was supposed to be him. Then Hebron, and then Uziel. And Moshe, by Hashem's words, he appointed the son of Uziel, which was the youngest one, Elitzaphan, to be the head of the tribe of Shevet Levi. And this bothered Korach. Why not me? I'm the second one. Why not me? Why they skipped me?
But his wife made it.
So yeah, of course, there was his wife. There was all kind of factors over there, but he saw that it bothered him, so he started kind of a strategy, He started to make fun of Moshe Rabbeinu, and he was he knew how to speak on people's mind, like public relations. If you want something, you know how to get into people. He started to make fun of Moshe Rabbeinu. He started with a story that you all know about this poor widow that her husband passed away, so he left her a field. She wanted to plant the field. Came Moshe Rabbeinu and he told her, you cannot plow together with a donkey and an oxen, it's not allowed, whatever. She wanted to plant something, he says, you cannot plant a hybrid, kil'ain. She wanted to harvest, he said, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. She wanted, you have to give truma, you have to give truma לכהנים, ללוויים, ללקט שכחה, פאה, need this, that. She said, okay, I don't need this, I'll sell this field, and I'll buy 2 female sheep so that they can bring me more babies, more meat, more wool, more milk, whatever. So one of the sheep gave birth. Came Aaron, says, you have to give it to me, firstborn to the Kohen. So poor woman, no sheep. The second one, she wants to cut first cut to the Kohanim again. And then she said, okay, maybe I'll slaughter it, and then that's it. You slaughter, זרוע לחיים לקיבה to the Kohen, certain parts to the Kohanim. She says, I want to ban it, no one should enjoy it. She says, כל חרם לכהנים. So this woman was left with nothing. This is how we used to go from person to person and tell them. And it's all big lie, all big fat lie. They didn't have any fields in the desert. Mm-hmm. No one plowed. They didn't have to do this. But you know something, when you talk and you talk and you talk and you make a propaganda and it gets to the people.
Yep.
Wow. I want to tell you something else. Korach, as much as he started this dispute, he wasn't Moshe Rabbeinu's big headache. Moshe Rabbeinu's biggest headache was Datan and Aviram.
Oh, wow. Nephews?
No, they were from Shevet Reuven. Always felt inferior because Reuven was not the Bechor anymore, and it bothered them very much. Why the firstborn, the son of, and you know something? It's interesting. So many commentaries speak about this. The Maharal, the other rabbis, they say in the world, every place there is purity, there is always opposition against this tum'ah, there is impurity. Every place there is righteous people, there is always opposite people. The biggest objectors, the biggest people that were objecting Moshe and Aaron were the Datan and Aviram. Think about this. Moshe Rabbeinu was raised in Pharaoh's palace.
Right.
He was a teenager. He came out, he wanted to see his nation, to his people, his brothers. What does he see the first day that he goes outside?
How they're beating a Jew.
He sees an Egyptian man hitting a Jewish man. So Moshe Rabbeinu was into justice. He bothered him and he punished this Mitzri. This Jewish person that was beaten by the Mitzri was Datan. We know that Shlomi Bat Divri, the problem with it. Second day he goes out, he sees two Jewish people are fighting. Datan and Aviram fighting again. Again he tries to make that. What does Datan tell him? You want to kill me like you killed yesterday the Egyptian? Now that was supposed to be a secret. And then you know what they did? They informed him to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh was about to kill him already. And Moshe at the last minute was saved. They couldn't kill him. Because of Datan and Aviram, he had to flee, to run away from Egypt. Think about this, from teenage time till the age of 80. What is it, 65 years? He was away, not seeing his brothers, not seeing his family, not seeing his community, his nation. Ran away to Midian. I don't know, for years he was there. Because of them.
Wow.
And then Hashem gives him a mission. You have to go back. כי מתו האנשים אשר מבקשים את נפשך. Those people that are looking for you, they died. Well, Hashem meant that they became poor. The fact that they informed on him, they got a lot of money from Pharaoh and they got to become rich. Then this money ended and they became poor again. So Hashem said, you know something? Poor people are not important and you can go back, don't worry. He goes back. The minute that he starts working, they come again. He goes to Paro, he says, please don't make it so hard on the Jews. And Paro, instead, make it harder. He told them, okay, now you have to look for the bricks. Now you have to do this. And they run away. Right away they come to him and say, it's because of you. Why did you go to him? Datan and Aviram didn't believe that they will be able to leave Mitzrayim. Datan and Aviram thought that Mitzrayim, that Egypt, is the best place for them. If I'll read you one of the psukim that they say, it's amazing how they believed in Egypt and not in leaving Egypt. I just have to find this pasuk, but it's amazing how they said, we don't want to leave Egypt. We think that Egypt, Eretz Zahavat Chalav Udvash, is Egypt, okay? And we shouldn't. And in fact, when Yetziat Mitzrayim happened, they didn't leave Egypt.
Really?
They stayed there. They didn't believe that Moshe and Aaron will be able to take them out of Mitzrayim, and they didn't believe that they have to go to Israel.
Even after seeing all those
After
miracles?
seeing all those miracles.
Wow.
So, Datan and Aviram stayed there, it says, and then when Pharaoh decided that he wants to chase after Am Yisrael, so they went with him too. Okay, they went with him too, and when they saw that the Egyptians were drowning, this is when they said, oh, now we see the truth. And in a way, they did tshuva, and this is the reason that they didn't die in Yam Suf together with the Egyptians. But they stayed Moshe and Aaron's opposition.
They still survived?
They survived and they stayed his opposition. So Hashem is doing a big miracle and he brings them the man. He told them, don't leave it to the next day. Every day we are going to have fresh new man coming. They didn't believe. They went to search, they kept some more. Of course, it became rotten and whatever. And then when the first Shabbat, he told them, you're going to have double on Friday. You're not going to get it. They went to search for man on Shabbat. Okay, it's always these same people. Okay?
And golden calf also there?
Datan and Aviram. Huh?
Golden calf is also
Golden calf. They were the ones that were, and then when the biggest problem was with the spies. When they understood that they are going to stay in the desert for 40 years, this is when they said, you see, we told you won't be able to bring us to Israel. We told you. Now they feel that they are stuck in there, with them. And this is when Korach's dispute started. Okay, they felt that they have to take the initiative. And they started to make a whole big thing, a whole big theory, a whole big propaganda against Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, think about this. Korach, he wanted something. He wanted kehuna. He wanted to be a Kohen. That's it. So he went to Moshe and he said, that's not fair. Why not me? So he approached him and he spoke with him. Moshe tried to appease him. Moshe tries to compromise. Moshe tries to tell him. Moshe tries to... Didn't work out. But Datan and Aviram didn't want anything. And didn't get anything. Moshe was not trying to appease them in any way because he saw that they come in a very chutzpah way. They didn't come to him and talk to him. They stayed in their own tents. And when Moshe calls for them and asks them, please come, they say, Lo na'ale, no, we don't want to come to you. Very, very chutzpahdik way. With this type of people, Moshe, it's interesting the way that Moshe coped with these people, how he dealt with these people. Usually with chutzpah, what do? So Moshe, first of all, vayipol al panav, he fell, from his humility, he felt like, and then he tells them, something, tomorrow, let's wait till tomorrow, let's sleep overnight, let's see. He kept their dignity, he didn't, and he told them, let's Hashem decide who's, it's not like he knew that but let's Hashem decide, and he's trying always to give them a way, to repent, to do tshuva, they were stubborn, they didn't care, they were, this is called מחלוקת קורח ועדתו. Why is it called מחלוקת קורח ועדתו? Does it say מחלוקת קורח and Moshe? Why Korach and Datan? Korach and his assembly people. Why Korach and Datan? So, one of the rabbis explained it with a story that happened in Italy. In the city of Livorno, there were 7 community elders that took care of the community. 7 community leaders, they're managing the whole community, all the affair, all whatever is needed. One day, Reuven got up, one of them. They had a committee, they had a meeting, and he said, we need to build a new mikveh. Our mikveh is already old, and we have to build something advanced, something nice, something in the middle of the city. If you want, I even found a lot that is for sale. I spoke with the owner already. He wants $200,000 for the lot, and we are going to build there, B'ezrat Hashem, a nice mikveh there. It should be in the middle, in the center of the town. Everyone is going to enjoy it, whatever. So 2 people say, yeah, we're with you. Why not? We should do it. Okay, he had 2 people in his side. The president gets up. He says, why should we do this? It's very expensive. And a mikveh doesn't have to be in the middle of the town. I found, a lot in the outskirts of the city, not in the middle, not in the center. Over there it's so much cheaper, it's so much quieter, it's good for mikveh. And I could speak with the owner, and it's going to be, I'm sure, half the price that you offer. No, nothing. He tells him, you see, you are a rich man, and you think like a rich man. You have a car, people can, but most of the community don't have cars. How are they going to get there? I think my suggestion is so much better. And he tells him, but that's so expensive, it doesn't make sense. Why should we do that? We don't know. And he has people that, support him. He has people that support him. And they made a whole big machloket in that community. some people, he talks to these people, he talks to that people, and the whole, it became, at some point, that it became even violent, teenagers usually, they like to take. So the mayor wanted to put a stop to it. The mayor calls the rabbi and tells him, Rabbi, you have to find the source of the problem and find some kind of a compromise and do something about it. You cannot let it go. You cannot let it continue that way. So the rabbi, he was smart. He wanted to say, what's the core of the problem? What's the root of the problem? He went to the first lot that was offered in the center of the city. He goes to the owner. He talks to him. He tells him, is it for sale? He says, yes, I have to sell it. He tells him, what's the story of this lot? And he innocently didn't even know what was the problem, why. He tells him, I'll tell you what, I owe a lot of money to a lot of people. So I mortgaged this lot, and I owe money to this and this and that, and they approached these people that I owe them the money. They approached Reuven, the first guy, and they told him he should build a community building on that lot, and we'll get taxes, or I don't know exactly what, we're going to benefit, and the money for the, how you call the percentage of this will, some will go to Reuven, some will go to the other members that support him, and so on. Aha, said the rabbi, now I understand. Then he goes to the other lot. He speaks with the other guy. He says, yeah, it's for sale, but, it's mortgage, and I took from the president of the community. So he understood, the rabbi, that the Reuven and the president, all the other people, everyone, they fight because of their own agenda. They have other things. They don't really care about the community so much, but they want to see what do they own, they themselves are going to benefit from this. This is what happened with Korach and Datan.
How to take out their own money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened with Korach and Adato. Why it's called Korach and Adato? Korach thought, how do I get the Keuna? Datan Aviram thought, how are we going to get back our father rights as a Bechor, as the firstborn? The 250 Rashi Sanhedraot that went with Korach thought, right after Chet HaEgel, they were banned. They were Bechorim. They used to do a lot of holy work, and they were banned from this work. They wanted to gain back these things. So everyone basically thought about something else. And what's interesting thing about this type of stuff is that these people have nothing in common, but they have one target and they have one and so for that it's not a real unity. They say, the rabbis, that it's not a real unity. Let's assume, they say, that this rebellion, this merit would work out. Let's say, God forbid, right after they would, let's say, Chas v'shalom, get rid of Moshe and Aaron, they would continue fighting constantly with one another because there's nothing there in common. Unfortunately, we see it in our community, that when people are fighting for one thing, they think that they fight to eliminate this one, and these things are never finishing. Then they start fighting with one another because there's nothing with one another. So it's so interesting to see how these machlokot are working, and this is what we say, machloket shelo l'shem shamayim en sofa leitkayem. So every one of them had a different interest over there, and we have to know that from machloket you don't get anything. The opposite, you have to run away from machloket. I think once I mentioned this example. Once a president of a community came to the Rabbi Me'ozherov. He passed away, and he came to consult with him. He says, Rabbi, I want to tell you something. I established a shul, a nice shul. I invested so much money in there. I brought builders and constructors and people and everything, and the building is beautiful and everything. And then I brought a rabbi to the community, and there's so much shiur Torah, and there's so much activities and everything is working fine. Lately, a group of new people came to town or to that shul, and they started to pray with us. And they wanted to changes. They don't like the way that I organize the place. They don't like the way I run it. And they have their own view and their own interpretation and their own, and they start talking against me and talk slander against me and tell everyone that I'm not honest, not with money and not with others, and they want to do elections. They want to change everything. Should I let it happen? The rabbi tells him, let me tell you my story. He tells him, before his grandfather was number 3 in the dynasty of the Ozherov family. He's Admor, Ozherov, Hasidic Admor. My father was the rabbi of our city where we came from. And I helped a lot my father. So my father, it was hard for him to go and to collect money and to do this. I collected the money. I established the yeshiva in our little city, in our little town. I established the mikveh. I did after this. I ran after that, the kashruyot, this, that, whatever. Everything was under me. But then World War I started. And Jewish people are the first one who suffer from wars. When we saw the enemies are coming, we ran away from our little town. They came, they took all whatever we had in our houses, confiscated to themselves, and then they burned the whole city to the ground. Burned everything, nothing left. After the war, we had to come back and start all over from the beginning to build our houses, to build this, to build a shul, to build a yeshiva, to build this, to build that. My father was already old, he couldn't really do this, and I had to do it on my own. And then they had some kind of a plague, and Lo Aleinu, his wife died, his 3 children died, his parents died. But he took on himself the Admorut, he became the Admor, and he ran after people's problems, and people have emotional problems, people have economy problems, people have all kinds of problems. They come to the rabbi usually. And then a far relative of my father, all of a sudden appeared, and he tells me, I have to be the Admor. I'm so much older than you, not you. Mm-hmm. And usually Admorut goes from father to son, and his father appointed him, and he's already official in that town from the officials that he's supposed to be the Admor. And this far relative, he gathers people, he starts talking about him, people that are nothing to do, sometimes people that are so low self-esteem, and they gather up and they talk and then they complain. The rabbi said, when I saw that an argument, that a machloket, that a dispute, that some kind of stuff like that starts to, in our town, I said, I want to run away. I don't care about anything. I left everything, whatever I started, whatever I left it, and I ran away to the farthest far place that I knew. I came to America. It was so hard for me in America. I came penniless. I didn't have money. I couldn't do a Shabbat even. It was so hard for me. And he stayed in the shul because that's what and people started to come to him. They saw the light from his face, the Shekhinah from his face. They saw how he has good advisors, his blessings, are working. And slowly, students started to form and they built him a shul and everything. He said, I run away from Machloket. And I don't tell you what to do, but think overnight. Think about what I say and come to me tomorrow. It's interesting that the president was thinking about what the rabbi said. He never came back tomorrow to talk to the rabbi because he already submitted his resignation. He says, okay, I don't need to be a part of this machloket.
Beautiful.
When you have machloket, you don't want to be part. Even though you're 100% right, and because there's no right and wrong here. People could be right 100%. It's no problem. But machloket, you shouldn't be part of it, no matter what. Because machloket kills everything around. So, so how did Moshe cope with machloket? I told you, he with this Datan and Aviram, and this, it says that when Hashem saw that Datan and Aviram do not care, don't want to come forward, don't want to repent, don't want to, they were chutzpahdik to Moshe, and they answered him in not nice way, Hashem tells him, you have to separate from these people, from this assembly of people, because I'm going to punish them. And Moshe already knew that Hashem said that, and he knew that they are going to be punished. Still, the last chance he gave them, because he believed in every Jew, when we know that Moshe was soft heart, and even little kids that Paro, he put them as bricks, you know, and no one saw any hope in these children. Even Hashem, in a way, let it happen. Moshe was, you know, he had a very soft heart, and he believed in every Jew, no matter what. Still, in this last moment, he, the leader of Am Yisrael, that was insulted by them, was, God forbid, cursed by them, they didn't care about him at all. He lowered himself with all his humility, came again to their tent to talk to them, to talk some sense to them. Maybe, if they were going to see him, this the important men, you know, coming to them, maybe they will repent, maybe they will maybe they will do tshuva, the last moment. So this is when we see the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu till the last minute believed in everyone, and Resh Lakish in Sanhedrin, in the Gemara in Sanhedrin said, "Mikan she'en machzikim b'machloket," means that if Moshe wouldn't come at that moment, he said he could be part of the machloket. Ad kedei kach. Yeah, the last minute, again and again, you have to come and you try. In Apta, Apta is a town in Europe somewhere. There was this man, let's call him Joseph. Joseph, he was nice, he was talented, everything was okay, and he was learning Torah, and then had to go to work because he didn't have the money. And so he started to trade here and there all kind of merchandise or commodities, and he used to go to the estates of the noble people and buy from them their crops and sell in return other stuff to them. And they liked him very much. He was very talented. He learned right away that their manners and what they like and how to talk to them and everything. And he was an honest person, and they liked them. They liked him very much. The fact that they liked him very much was an obstacle for him, because one of the estates that he worked with, one of the landowners, he suddenly died, and he left everything to his daughter. Now, managing everything after her father died, he came to do business with her, with her father. He didn't know, but he started to do business with her. She liked him. Mm-hmm. He liked her. Mm-hmm. And somehow fell in love. But she couldn't marry him unless he converted to Christianity. What should he do? He never... So, because he was blinded in a way, he didn't care, he didn't even think what is he doing, and he got married with her.
But he's Jewish.
Yeah, but he converted to Christianity, and he got married with her.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so at the beginning it's like, whoa, you're living in La La Land and everything is nice, right? But then after a while, you know, I guess Christianity didn't give him anything in return. He was a religious Jew. He used to pray, used to be connected, emunah, bitachon, this, nothing, no prayers, no Yom Kippur, no Shabbat, no holidays, no nothing. And he felt such an emptiness. So one night, in the middle of the night, he knocks at the rabbi's door. And he asks him, "Rabbi, please, I want to convert back to Judaism." Now, in those years, they had a law that if somebody converted to Christianity, he is not allowed to convert back to Judaism. If he does, they will, I don't know, kill him or burn him or something. And whoever helps him, if a rabbi is helping him, if somebody, a neighbor, helps him in this, they will punish him severely. So the rabbi, his hands were tight. He couldn't really help this person. He felt bad for him, but he couldn't help him. He knocks every night when his household people, they go to sleep. He goes in the middle of the night to the rabbi. He knocks on the door, please, rabbi, please. And the rabbi tells him, I'm sorry, I can't go home. I can't. One night he really bothered the rabbi. The rabbi didn't know what to do already. He came with his stick, you know, the one that he came with his stick to the door, and he tells him, if you're going to bother me once more, I'm going to hit you with this stick. And then the rabbi saw that all of a sudden, from this stick, a stick starts to blossom. Flowers starts to come out from this stick. Reminds you something? Aaron Parsha. The rabbi was shocked. He said, such a miracle? This man is really speaking true. He really wants to convert. He really wants to learn. He wants to do tshuva. So he entered, he welcomed him home, come sit, my son, and he taught him, and he spoke with him, and he showed him the way of tshuva that night. You can imagine to yourself what type of evening it was, what type of night it was, so purifying, so... And then, when he left the rabbi to go to his own estate, he saw flames coming from his house, from his palace, from wherever he lived. All the house burned to the ashes, to the ground.
Wow.
People didn't know if he was inside. Everyone who was inside the house burned. He ran away. So and then he continued. He could, you know,
He left
without them knowing that he's alive. If they thought that he died, he could go to a far place and learn, you know, and become Jewish again.
He gave up on her and everything.
Yeah. Well, they died. This is what happened in our parasha. The Jewish people come after Korach died. 250 people with Korach died. Moshe told them, you know something? Let's make a test. You're all going to come with your frying pans and put some spices, some the the incense and everything. And let's see if Hashem is going to accept it. If not, you're all going to die. And they all died. Except Hashem was accepted, just Aaron's. And so the people came afterwards to Moshe and complained. You know, they didn't have this special, I guess, incense like Aaron had. Same like Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu, died because they killed Esh Zara. So maybe this was the problem. Moshe tells them, you know something? I'll give you another test. Let's take the staff of each tribe. I guess each head of the tribe had a staff, a stick.
The staff. Yeah.
The staff. And let's put them together and see who blossoms. And Moshe put Aaron's one, he engraved their names, he put Aaron's in the middle, so no one will say, oh, this was next to the Holy of Holiness, so that's why it's blossomed. This one in the middle. And then they saw that only Aaron's staff blossomed, and a bud came out of it, sprouted an almond. That same moment already came flower, and a bud came out, and this, and also an almond. Interesting, a big miracle. This one they kept quiet. This one they believe that's Moshe, that's Aaron, Moshe and Aaron, and that these are the people that Hashem chose. About 80 years ago, there was a big rabbi by the name of Harav David Baharan. He left Israel to collect money for the needs of Israel, and he came to a community overseas. And as he was talking to them, he saw that there's a lot of tension there. So he asked them, what's wrong? They told him that the Gabbai and the people that come to that shul have a big arguments, and they don't agree on many issues. Maybe the rabbi can make peace between them. So the rabbi gathered them all, and he told them about an interesting thing. He says, why did Hashem choose almond? Why it became almond? Why the almond fruit? He said, there's two types of almonds. There's one almond that you eat. When you eat in the beginning, it's bitter, but as you finish eating it, you have a good taste in your mouth. It becomes sweeter. And there are the other ones that are sweet, good taste in the beginning, but when you finish eating them, it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. So he says this represents the machloket, the fight, and the shalom and the peace. You know, machloket, in the beginning, it's sweet. People like to fight, people like to argue, people like to object, to have their own opinions, but in the end, it's bitter, because no good comes out of machloket. But peace, it's very hard in the beginning. You want to stand on your own, on your own principles. You don't want to give in. Everyone has the evil inclination that they don't want to give in. But when you work on yourself, you work on your evil inclination, you try to give in and everything, you look at the good of the other person and whatever it involves, eventually in the end, it's sweet because it's good to everyone. Peace of mind and clarity and good for everyone. This is the reason that Hashem chose the almonds, he said. He said, you too, you should do peace. And then he continued talking, and then he was able to make peace between them. Until end with how important it is to do peace. And when you do peace, everyone benefits from this, not only you. I think I once told this story. There was a woman that heard in one of the shiurim that it's very important to do peace with whoever you had a fight with or argument with, and to forgive people, but forgive all the way. Not, you forgive me, I forgive you, all the way. So she went home and she was thinking, and she said to herself, I have a friend that I'm not in touch with her for so many years. I should really call her. But sometimes it's you have your own pride and you don't want to call. Why should I call first? Why should you? For 12 years she didn't talk to her. Wow. Because of a stupid remark that one of them said to the other, and this is how they stopped talking. So she finds a phone call and she calls her. And the other one was so happy that she called. Of course, yeah, sure, we should really forget about that. It was a very stupid thing that we're arguing about this or whatever. Yeah, I forgive you. You know something? I'll go more than that. Next month, my daughter gets married. I invite you to the wedding. Yes, thank you, Mazal tov, I'm so happy for you with this. When is the wedding? She told her, let's say, a day after Tisha B'Av. Let's say she tells her. Oh, she tells her, a day after Tisha B'Av, I have a procedure that I have to go to. Can you postpone the wedding for one day? She tells you, are you crazy? Till now I didn't even know about you. And she told her, I'll talk to my daughter and then we'll see. We'll have to speak with the hall, this and that. We'll see if we could do it. Why not? So she calls her daughter and she tries to calm it down, and no one wants to. And then they call the hall. If the hall lets, so fine. Well, if the next day is going to be, they say, yeah, it's available the next day. So they postpone the whole thing for the next day. Wow. For this woman. Fine. The owner of the hall forgot to change the date. And that morning, he looks at his notebook and he sees they're supposed to be well, but he doesn't see that they're calling, that they're coming or anything. He gives them a call. What happens? They say, we called you a few months, last month. We postponed it one day. You said, okay. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I forgot. So basically, that day was empty because he couldn't find new people for that day. The above floor had an event, the down floor was empty. If you remember, there was in Israel a hall by the name of Versailles, and people were dancing on the second floor, and boom, all of a sudden the floor crashed into the first floor. The first floor was empty. What if there would be there 300 or 400 people? Oh wow! God forbid, such a disaster. Who knows? God forbid how many people are going to get hurt from this. And this way, only a few injuries. Though it wasn't a big deal. Wow! See what peace made. Not only that they made peace, and I'm sure that Hashem benefited them and gave them a big reward and everything, But a life of 300 or 400 people were saved because of that. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Wow.
This is what it says in סוף מסכת וקצין. אמר רבי שמעון בן חלפתא, לא מצא הקדוש ברוך הוא כלי מחזיק ברכה אלא השלום. Vessel that holds a blessing is only peace. שנאמר, השם, it says in תהילים, השם עוז לעמו ייתן, השם מברך את עמו בשלום. So important. We know that Aaron was אוהב שלום ורודף שלום. All his life constantly was seeking peace, was doing peace between people. And let's learn from this that we want to run away from machloket and do peace and live in peaceful way. Be'ezrat Hashem, this unity, that's the only thing that will bring the Mashiach, Be'ezrat Hashem, soon. Speedy nowadays. Thank you.
Amen. Beautiful.
God bless you.